Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today we're bringing you guys another division video. Today's video is going to be focused on the Alphabridge classified gear set that you saw me run in my last video and what you saw at the very beginning of this video. Now, I think this might be one of the meta builds coming up in the future, but remember, we don't really know what the meta will be until Striker receives that nerf, and when Striker receives that nerf, that is when we'll know what builds will be the meta and what builds won't. I think if Striker gets the right nerf, then we'll see more builds, and one of those builds will be this Alphabridge 6-piece classified. So let's get into the gear set. So the first thing we're gonna notice is my primary firepower is 507,000. That's firearms is 7,679. My toughness is 455,000. That's stamina 5,488. And my skill power is 88,000. And that's electronics of 2,961. So if we get into the chest piece, we're gonna break down what this 6-piece does and why it's so effective. So set 2 bonus is going to give you 100% health regen. Remember, this is when you're out of combat. We get set bonus 3, which is 5% weapon damage. That is why this build is going to do really well. As we continue on, you're going to see that we're going to get some more additional weapon damage. Set bonus 4, if your primary and secondary weapon are of the same category, so if you're using 2 SMGs, 2 assault rifles, they share the free talent, and the free talent is always the bottom slot talent on your weapon. All talent requirements are ignored for all weapon talents, so that means all 4 weapon talents ignore the requirements, so you can run any 4 weapon talents you want and they will be unlocked. Set bonus 5, 25% health regen, and then 10% weapon damage. So that's a total of 15% weapon damage and then a total of 125 health regen when we stack set bonus 5 with set bonus 2 and set bonus 3. So the 6-piece is what makes this build interesting and why it works really good as a solo player. Now, you could run this in a team, or you could swap out the 6-piece and put on a different piece. It just really depends on your playstyle. So what is a 6-piece? Well, it's improved Alphabridge. Inactivates personal versions of all signature skills are rotating every 6 seconds. So what that means is your recovery link, your tactical link, and your survival link are rotating every 6 seconds and can be activated by killing enemy players, which is other players, or killing veteran or elite NPCs. So that's purple, gold, or named NPCs, and your signature skill will pop. So if you happen to kill one player or you happen to kill one veteran or elite NPC, your alt will pop, and then if you keep killing one, they will continue to pop and pop and pop. So the cool thing about when you run this in Last Stand is when you do kill a player and you drop him, your first alt will pop. When you shoot him again when he's on the ground, it will pop again. So you can have 2 alts within the matter of 10 seconds. And then if there's a player next to him, that second alt when the guy's on the ground will really help you beat that next player. The signature skills that is up are on rotation. When an enemy is killed, is activated for 10 seconds when all primary stats are balanced between each other. So what that means is if you had something that was like 5k, 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 you would have up to 10 seconds. But I don't really think this build performs its best like that. I feel like having more burst damage is where you want to be with this build, because even if you're only having like a 6-second tack link or 6-second survival link or 6-second recovery link, that still is more beneficial than those extra 4 seconds if you can put out that burst damage and drop the player in front of you before he has a chance to drop you. And remember, you can no longer activate signature skills or be affected when your teammates activate their signature skills. So if you go down, they can't get you up with the recovery link. So let's get into how I broke down this build. So for the chest piece, it's rolled firearms. It has a major attribute of health, exotic damage resilience, and then a minor attribute of ammo capacity. For the mods, I'm running stamina mods with 1% critical hit chance. For the mask, it's rolled stamina. The major attribute is 4% critical hit chance, and the minor attribute is 17% burn resistance. For the knee pads, it's rolled firearms. The major attribute is health. The minor attributes are shock resistance, disrupt resistance, and increased kill XP. For the mods, I'm running stamina mods with 1% critical hit chance and the performance mod with 6% first aid self heal. For the holster, the major attribute is critical hit chance. As I said at the very beginning when I was talking about the 6-piece, is I want this build to be a burst damage build, so you want to put out as much damage as possible before that player has time to recover, especially those strikers who once they build their stack, they're a lot harder to kill. But if you can burst them down, they don't have time to build that stack. They have to use their med kits, and you can just keep putting on that pressure and then drop them before they have a chance to drop you. For the mods, I'm running performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. For the gloves, since I am running SMGs, I'm going to have SMG damage rolled on here. It also has critical hit chance and then has critical hit damage, and then this one is rolled firearms. For the backpack, it's rolled firearms. The major attribute is critical hit damage, and the minor attribute right here is ammo capacity. Now, if I was going into the dark zone, I might take off this 9% critical hit damage and put health on here just because my stamina is a little bit low, so that will bring me up a little bit so I could take a little bit more punishment. For the mods, I'm running stamina mods with 1% critical hit chance and then performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. And the reason why I have the first aid self-heal on here is because I'll be running a booster shot. But we're going to get into the skills in just a second. Let's talk about the weapons. So for my primary, I'm running the house. It has 23% critical hit chance. The base damage on this is 25.3k, and the talents are unforgiving. Missing health segments increase your damage. One missing segment is an additional 10% damage. Two missing segments is an additional 25% damage. That's why this build hits like a tank, because our base damage is already 25,000. Now you add an additional 10%. If you go under those two segments, you add an additional 25% damage. My second talent is responsive, and I'm going to be fighting within 10 meters, especially since I'm using SMGs. Damage is increased by 10% when closer than 10 meters to target. So you stack that 10% on top of the unforgiving, and you can see how much damage you're putting out with the base damage already being at 25,000. Then for the fourth talent, I'm running an additional 15% critical hit damage because I have Deadly on here, and Deadly is the free talent on my Navy MP5. So if we glance at my Navy MP5 real quick, we see I have responsive, self-preserve, and deadly. I really don't use this one, but if I had a better rolled Navy MP5, I would leave deadly there because I do want to have that on my house. And the only things I would change is I would leave responsive because I could swap to that if I need to. I would like to have unforgiving on here. So I would have unforgiving, responsive, deadly on this one. And then I would have unforgiving, responsive, and then card counter, of course. And the fourth talent is unlocked. So how do I have my house modded? I have a pro red dot sight with 18% critical hit damage, 6% headshot damage, and 2.5 critical hit chance. The loud vent break with 18% critical hit damage, 6% headshot damage, 3% critical hit chance. A small grip with 19% critical hit damage, 5% reload speed, and 4.5 optimal range. And then an extended magazine with magazine size, critical hit chance, and rate of fire. Now with the small grip, I do like having some optimal range on there because I don't get that fall off damage. So if you're looking to have a little bit more distance on your SMGs, try to find one that has optimal range on here. Now I have my Navy MP5 modded almost the same exact way. So if we get into my skills, I'm running a booster shot, and you want to have a booster shot on here because you want that burst damage, right? So every time you pop that booster shot, it's going to temporarily increase your damage and damage resistance for the affected targets in addition to normal healing effects. So every time I pop my booster shot, I'm going to get 48,000 health points, but that's not really why I'm using it for, because my immune box is going to heal me more than this booster shot. The damage that I get out every time I pop this booster shot is going to be amazing. So let's pop it, and then I'll show you the difference on my house. So if we look at my house went up almost 3k. It was at 25.3. Now it's 28.3k. So just every time I pop my booster shot, I get an additional 3,000 damage. Now I pair that up with my immune box because this is the real heal right here. Every time we drop it and you explode it, you get that burst heal, and that's gonna be bigger than anything you can get when you're only running low electronics like me. So having this immune box and it coming back every 36 seconds is really key. It's great towards fighting Predator's Mark because as long as you're in your immune box, they can't apply that bleed. So if he has to focus on destroying your immune box, with this build, if you pop your booster shot, you should be able to drop them. Now for the talents, I highly recommend you guys run Adrenaline if you guys know that you guys are fighting someone running Predator's Mark. Now what I usually do is if I don't really see a Predator's Mark in the server or I don't see someone running it in Last Stand, I'll swap out Adrenaline and I'll put on Strike Back. So what Adrenaline does is medkits now give 7 seconds of immunity from status effects. So that means for 7 seconds after someone puts bleed on you and you clear it with the medkit, you have 7 seconds to drop them, and that's plenty enough time to do that with this build because you hit so hard that Predator's Mark will drop. I love having critical save, use medkits during low health to increase damage resistance by 20% for 10 seconds. Like I told you, if I know I'm not fighting anybody running Predator's Mark, then I'll take off Adrenaline, I'll put Strike Back, reach low health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%, and that'll help my booster shot and my immune box come back faster. Now since I'm putting out a lot of damage, I want some talents that are going to help me out put out a little bit more damage. So Precision does that. Headshot a hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds. That's going to increase my critical hit chance and my critical hit damage towards that player. And then of course I like having On the Move since this build is a little bit on the squishy side, killing a hostile while moving to reduce incoming damage by 15% for 10 seconds. So every time I'm moving and I kill a hostile, On the Move is going to kick in and I'm going to get that reduced incoming damage by 15% for 10 seconds. So that's pretty good, especially on a build that is squishy. So if you guys are running any kind of squishy builds, this might be something that you guys want to put on there. That'll give you some kind of defense against another player shooting at you. If you just finished killing one player and another player shooting you from the side, you have time to turn to the side and then focus him. So if we get into my character, you're going to see my critical hit chance is 50% with this build. Critical hit damage is 121%, and that's because I have health on the backpack. If I want to have my critical hit damage a little bit higher, I could take that health off, but I highly recommend you leaving it on there because our stamina is only at 5,488, and that's toughness of 455,000. If we take that off, our toughness is going to drop down. The headshot damage I have on here is 62%, and that's pretty much my build. I will be working on a couple more meta builds I have in mind. One in particular that I know I will be running, so I'll most likely be running this one, and then I will be running another one 100% because I do run solo. So I will put that build out so that way you guys can see how I'm going to be running mine, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy this content. I have a lot of new fresh ideas for the Division, for new games coming out, and I'm just glad that you guys are here to support the channel. So remember, if you're new to my channel, first time you're watching a video, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. If you guys enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up, and if you have any questions after watching this video, use the comment section down below. If you don't see me in Last Stand, if you don't see me in Skirmish, if you don't see me in the Dark Zone, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills out.